Welcome, 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 guys. This is what it looks like outside. It's the thunder, but rain is still coming off the roof. So, yeah. I'm surprised I hear people working out there, building an apartments complex. Alright, so today we're hanging out inside. This is who's hanging out with me. Dirty dogs. This one decided to roll around in cat poop after breaking away. Say hi, Penny. Hi, Penny. Goliath. Didn't rat out on her boyfriend. She said snitches get stitches. Yeah, say hi, Goliath. Say hi, Penny. So, we're cleaning up after them. I have a project of a collar that's smothered in cat poop, but I first got to get rid of this and clean up a little bit. So if you pop into the chat, feel free, shoot me any questions. Go. Go way down. Now the fun part. First, let's look up a video. Gotta clean that collar. First, see if there's a YouTube video. Let's flip this up. We found one. Okay, that looks easy enough. All right, let's go out to the garage. Oh yeah. No, you get to stay here. Stay here. No, stay. We're going out to the garage. Oh, so it does work. Just straight up ignored it. Let's probably get away with. hot water, collar, plastic, bolt, plastic and bolt, all in the thing, battery, hot, let brew for a little bit, rinse. Collar's probably going to go into clothes wash, battery, give that a scrub, and give that a scrub. I think everything else needs to just get washed by hand, because this is electronic and it's covered in mud and grime and cat poop, and I can't dip it in water, risk running and ruining all the components. This sucker by itself, the whole collar, costs like $150. So I'm trying my best to not have to buy a replacement for this sucker just because it's dirty. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna scrub this stuff. I'm gonna find a toothbrush I don't need. So, first goal. I'm gonna put that battery on there just to keep it covered. That didn't work. This is the second day in a row my dog has rolled around in cat poop. Yesterday, I don't know how or what, I think my bigger dog Goliath, the German Shepherd, ate some yesterday and had it all over his mouth, and because they love each other, they play this like neck, dogs play this neck grappling game all the time. So I think he shared the love of what he ate all over her. So they both got baths yesterday, and this morning before I drop off my kids to go to daycare, I catch one outside of the house property, And I have like an acre, acre and a half of property, so my dogs have pretty good range. But I have like some areas have a limited fence capacity, like my front area, so there's a little crawl space for them. And I've had the smallest one since she was a puppy, and her favorite thing to do is crawl under the thing because she's known us her entire life. So her favorite thing is just to explore and run away. Versus the boy is a rescue, so he absolutely loves it here, and he'll run off, but he comes back. They both do. They just kind of get the rocks off going outside the perimeter every once in a while. All right, there's that. I don't think that rag did pretty good. I don't have to waste a perfectly good toothbrush. All right, that's good. Okay, so now for the air drying. I'm gonna lay this out. It's going. Okay, let's push it. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna do a quick hands washing since I've touched a bunch of grime. That's cool. I haven't really been on YouTube Studio in a minute, and what I just discovered right now, they finally uploaded, allowed creators to post on courses. So next to the podcasts on the upper tab, right? Let me flip it. Got a coil on the camera. All right, so I'm on my creator page, and so going to my dashboard, I can go to content, and here's all my various pieces of content. Not a whole lot there, still developing some shorts. I recently just had a short go viral for me, 1,000 views when my average was like less than 10, so that's a 10x increase on one singular video. So that's cool. So I got to figure out what happened there, why that one caught fire. So right now, here's the one that's live. Right here's my live feed under my live, and then you can see my previous lives. So as you can tell, I go live a lot because it's like very functional way for me to create content is just by going live, and I can clip it later if I choose to. And they're working on that piece as is right here. There was a page. Here you go. Create live stream on mobile and create a course. So there, I guess you can clip it somehow. I'm not sure. I got to read through all that stuff. But they're trying to add in more features here and there. But next to podcasts for the longest time was, while I've been here, was promotions, and then they added collaborations right here. If you can't see that. Collaborations. And then now they've added courses, so I can literally just post a course, and just like any other video, I can upload a specific video designated, or I can go to my library and start designating stuff as courses. So I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to podcasts, where podcasts are kind of like under an umbrella, but on YouTube it creates them under like a portfolio of content. So for instance, I have 3 videos under this one podcast, right? Even though they were published individually as well, right? I published them as a podcast, but on the feed, it also adds them to the video content. But when I did it, it was, I think what I did was I went upload a video, and then I went to upload a video, and then at the end of the tab, I can link it to a playlist. And then that playlist went to a podcast. And so it hosts things underneath. This is essentially a playlist of an individual video. I'm assuming this is going to operate under the same guise. If I click create a new course, I'm assuming this is going to be, yeah, I can upload individual videos, and then I can create a course of content around it. So similar as a podcast, now you have course material of a playlist of stuff. So that's kind of cool. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to play around with that feature, because part of the reason why I've thought about it as an instructor is there's an interesting thing going on. For those of you that have lived under a rock, for the last 2 decades or so, there's this thing called the internet, okay, and computers, right? right? And I grew up in that era. I'm a millennial. I was born in the 80s. And so I kind of remember kind of pre the solidity of what the internet is today, and pre kind of like really, really robust computers, right? Where everyone had personal computers. There were computers around, but it's like industrial, office use, heavy manufacturing kind of stuff. Military grade kind of stuff. That was the kind of primary purpose of it. And then obviously during Mac and Windows days, they started competing in the early 80s to start getting everyone on board with having personal computers. And this is when they had the Office kind of change of the world order of how everyone went from paper operating their businesses to now paper and computers. Okay, and then nowadays it's just computers. So that I've lived through that phase in process, right? And so what specific business people that are smart business people call this is a new technological era, right? This is not just a new technology. This is a new era of economics, essentially. So if you wanted to break it down into various eras, you had a era about land and land ownership. This was kind of the early human civilization till when until the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so there were the way this is broken down is essentially the primary beneficiaries of that era would have been landowners and people that can accumulate and hold on to land, right? The monarchies and stuff like this. They were the primary beneficiaries. During the Industrial Revolution, during these eras and revolutions, they're not like necessarily war revolutions. These are just changes of social hierarchies and economics of transacting and how wealth pools and congregates. Okay, so like I said, in the agriculture eras or era, which was hundreds of thousands of years, land ownership was the primary base of economics. If you own land, you were the beneficiary of that land, right? Everyone was a beneficiary of providing you wealth if you can make the land resourceful to you. And we still rely on that heavily today. But at a certain point, industry came about. And this is where oil, metal manufacturing, mass production manufacturing all started happening. And now the beneficiaries kind of pivoted a little bit away. These things can operate in tandem. So as one is on the economic downfall, typically the next one is on the incline. Okay? Let me draw this out. Okay. To people unaware, this looks like a simple waveform, right? A AC current waveform. Okay, but this is the change of eras. Okay? So you have time going through this way. Time moving. And then you had this ag era, industrial era. Okay, so peak industrial era, can't move, happened at roughly around the same time, the start of the industrial era. So you'll probably look at history and see where things started. People started manufacturing large goods, and then so at this time, at peak industrial era was when you could hold down a job for 30 years and retire. And this is still beneficial. And you could be a tradesperson for 30 years and retire and save, and you could benefit off the industrial era. But the primary beneficiaries of the industrial era would have been people that can manufacture stuff at scale. People that can essentially, the real value in that is, right, like agriculture era revolved around land ownership and trying to produce off land. Industrial era ownership of real capital wealth was you needed capital, access and ability to gain access to capital, and access to coordinate labor. And what that means is people's labor or machine labor, or access to coordinate labor. This is where unions started becoming super powerful, right? As the industrialists started really innovating, right? Everyone started working for them, and then people at the same time are getting screwed over. So unions are fighting to gain power back for labor. And what happened there is labor or unionization. But now there's a new era. It's called the digital era. That last little hump. Now these eras are still kind of commingling, but they're phasing into less power. And so now we are somewhere along, I say we're here, somewhere here. I don't know, somewhere around here in this zone right here. It's hard to say, but people are openly stating it. People that have been trying to work their asses off for 30 years, the new generation that's coming in, the millennials, right, the Gen Xers, we're all feeling it, right? They're all saying it. They're struggling. And why? Because they were raised in this era, but they were also experienced this era developing when it was nothing to now when it's starting to produce something, okay? When it's starting to produce economics at scale, right? And we're told that we need to work a job over here. That's what we did. We went to school and we were taught, hey, go get a job over here. And we're realizing that this is failing us. And right? And then the reason is, the underlying principle, it's not the jobs, it's not the people in the jobs, it's not the social structures, it's the mass movement of this economic paradigm shift of going from a industrialized era, industrial power structure of economics to a digital form of economics and economics of scale. Okay? So what you're seeing is people en masse migrating over, just getting jobs online, right? Working as an entrepreneur online, content creators, okay? And I'm a firm believer of this movement. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm a person that believes in being an educator and educating, mentoring, and things like that. So in an era of the industrial era declining, what's the benefit, right? So I can project hardworking hours, low paying, changing of benefits, hierarchical structures struggling, management processes failing at scale if I were just to go into just a teacher role. And I'm not saying that there's great teacher roles, but in this new era, we got to look at, hey, how do I be different? Is there a way to be an educator online? Are there benefits to being a teacher online? And so that's the things I'm looking at, is trying to digitize and figure out, okay, what skills and value do I have as a person that I've typically offered to a job, and now how can I extract that and provide value to the internet and people through the internet. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out. And so that's really cool that YouTube now has allowed that function for early creators. So I don't have to spin up my own website. I can use their resources of digital bandwidth and digital and energy through their systems and processes and distribute this course. So that's a really cool feature. I think a lot of people will benefit from this now. And it's just starting off simple, but I'm going to have to test it out start figuring out how to digitize a course. And it looks like it's just simple video uploads. So people will probably get better at this, but I'm going to have to test it out, see how it works. So yeah, that's kind of the new thing. I know my Sharpies aren't looking in, but it's hard to say. People say, oh, we're right here already. No, we're at like a little inverse. We could be here further along. I don't think so. I think we're at this crossing threshold point where you have two paradigms operating against each other. Those that are operating in the industrial society, going to work standard trade jobs or think they're going to have a white-collar job, they're going to see they're going to see a lot of struggling now that AI is key. Their labor, which was highly critical under industrial. Remember how coordination of labor was a major power function of industrial. So now normal blue collar or people in our societies, the younger generation has no land and their labor is being demonetized at scale. Their labor value to the market is being demonetized. So they're going to struggle here. And so in this new era, people are going to have to figure out how to digitize their skills in this new era. And so that's what we're starting to come across, people shifting course and pivoting at scale. And this is a more of an area that allows for entrepreneurial skills and creativity because things are becoming demonetized rapidly. It's more cheaper than it's ever been to start a business. It's with AI tools and technology is getting more efficient to solo operate businesses at scale. In the near future, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, who knows? There are people and experts predicting that in the future, they fully anticipate a solo run billion-dollar company fully automated and utilized from AI tools as they get better and better and better. We're not there yet, but people are competing. There are companies that only have 10 to 15 people that are seeing mass acceptance and huge rewards from just very, very small operations because they're leveraging digital technology. So that's the era we live in, and hopefully that was kind of beneficial. For a better explanation on this overall, check out a video by Ali Abdaal. He sits down with a business guy, and he really breaks this down. Let me find it for you guys. Okay, let me flip it. So for those curious on a better explanation of this video right here, start from zero, the proven reliable path. He sits down with Danny Priestley. Great video. Listen to the whole thing. He breaks down various business entities and functions on how to get a business going. Oh no, it's not that one. This guy. Here it is. Same guy, different things. And so I'm going to have to do a react on this one. So, what are we going to do now? I have a paper I need to write, so I'm probably going to close out the stream today and focus on the paper. I could showcase it, but yeah, I'm gonna save some more business content for a later date. So if you hung out today to watch me clean my house and wash cat poop off things, thanks. Hopefully you got a little bit of business education off of that little whiteboard, my horrible whiteboard drawings. But it's time for me to sit down and work on a paper. So I'm going to do some crunch on that and get that done. So hopefully I'll be back tomorrow for some more streaming. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See ya.